What if I told you you could watch Chris Hemsworth mow people down from the comfort of your own home? That's right, you don't need this mask. We're talking about Extraction. Extraction is an action movie recently released to Netflix starring Chris Hemsworth, written by the Russo brothers of Marvel Cinematic Universe fame, and directed by Sam Hargraves. It's a movie about a mercenary who is tasked with finding the son of a drug lord and ends up having to go through quite a few hurdles to make that happen. Now, when I was rating this movie, it was incredibly hard to rate because there's one thing that this movie focuses on and does incredibly well, and that is its action. The action is well shot, it's well choreographed, and Chris Hemsworth is very believable in all of the scenes. Now, there are two scenes that come to mind particularly when it comes to that, and it is the car chase sequence and the 11-minute hallway fight scene that we see Chris Hemsworth participate in. And the reason I say those two are the most memorable is because while the car chase sequence isn't necessarily any different from other car chase scenes that we see in other movies, it's shot better than probably any other scene I've seen like that, because it's shot in a first-person perspective where we see it over the shoulders of the characters as they're driving in the car and winding through the different streets, and it's bobbing between cars, it's going up above the cars, seeing a bird's eye view, and its use of shaky cam is actually pretty well executed. That being said, we see something similar in the 11-minute hallway fight sequence that we see Chris Hemsworth's character in, where the camera is weaving through the hallway as he's mowing people down through different methods. It looks like it's all one take or very few takes, which definitely adds to the first-person perspective, and just the colorful nature of where this movie is shot adds to that. You know, this movie was shot in India and Bangladesh, and it adds a unique flavor to a movie with fare that is really well trodden. Usually when we see a movie with two rival drug lords going at each other, it takes place in some place like Mexico. But because of where this movie takes place, which again is India and Bangladesh, it adds a unique flavor to the movie that we don't see. That being said, that's basically where the positives of this movie ends. The character development is rather lackluster, especially with Chris Hemsworth's character and the young kid who is the son of the drug lord that ends up getting kidnapped. He seems to merely serve as a MacGuffin, where really the only interesting thing you learn about him is that he plays piano when he's nervous, and there's really a lot that you're missing there, because that could be a very interesting development in the movie where you can maybe see the kid's posh, rich lifestyle, and yet the danger of being the son of a drug lord, where he's constantly has this threat of being kidnapped and being killed, kind of like what we see in the movie, but it's not as developed as it should be. There's also a point in the movie where Chris Hemsworth's character tries to develop a relationship with the young boy to make up for his lack of a relationship he had with his kids due to certain factors, and it's really forced in the movie. They try to do it over the course of one conversation, and it really falls flat. So when certain key decisions are made by the characters later on in the movie, it takes away from the believability of it. That being said, the plot is also very predictable, where, especially at the end, where 10 minutes before things happen, you predict exactly what's going to happen. And there's actually a scene about 20 to 30 minutes before the end of the movie where something key happens to the main character, and after that happens, you are basically able to predict everything that happens after that, including in the very final shot of the movie, that takes away from the interesting part of the movie. Really, the only part that you constantly keep yearning for in this movie is the action. Now, where my dilemma in rating this film happened is in trying to compare it with other action movies I've seen this year, such as Bloodshot. Bloodshot, just like Extraction, tried to really go heavy on the action and make it memorable, but fell rather short. And so it's a movie that's not very memorable and isn't all that great. And it felt rather demeaning to a film with action as good as Extraction to put it in the same rating category as Bloodshot. But it also felt a little too lackluster in every other department to put it in the same category as the movies in the John Wick franchise, where not only is the action so great, but the characters are interesting and cool. The world, they constantly develop the world in an interesting and fun and unique way, and you keep wanting to go back to that world, not just for the action, but for the characters as well. And Extraction fell well short of that in every department except for the action. I was originally going to rate this take it or leave it, but again, that felt a little too low for this movie because of how much the action elevates this movie. So in the end, I'm going to rate it required viewing-ish. And what I mean by that is this is definitely a movie I would recommend everybody see if they want to see some phenomenal action, but when it's all said and done, this isn't going to make it on my top 10 films of 2020 list or even in my honorable mentions section, because all the movies that make it in there usually are more well-rounded movies that have great character development and great plots and have a lot of emotional depth to them. And if they are action movies, also have phenomenal action, but this movie doesn't meet any of the rest of the criteria. So I would definitely recommend Extraction, if just for the action, especially while you're in quarantine. It's the bigger film on Netflix right now, getting a lot of love and praise for its action, and definitely watch it just for that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you liked the new format of this video. Please like if you did. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. And please comment down below what you liked about this review, what you didn't like, what do you like about the new format, and if you have any intentions on seeing this movie or what you're most excited for about in this movie. Please give me some feedback on this channel. I'm really trying to create some improve on the content that I bring to you guys, and any feedback is helpful. You know, I want my channel to inspire people to watch movies, appreciate the artistry that goes into movies, and at the very least give people an idea of what movies they want to see or don't want to see. So please let me know down in the comments below with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for my next video, and I will catch you later.